18 months ago, we were here to test out the newly announced Nikon Z9. We're back at Studio Chrome today, testing out its new little brother, the Z8. Now, I know some of you were hoping for a high-res camera to go alongside this Speed Demon, but given the specs, I think it's fair to say this is a mini Z9, which too will make a lot of people happy. This guy doesn't have the integrated grip, it's using the smaller ENEL 15C batteries, but it does all the same stills, all the same video. Hey folks, just jumping in here in post, not something I typically do. The info we had at the time of shooting was that all of the video specs were exactly the same. A couple of days later, we've just found out actually it's approximately 125 minutes if you're in 4K 60p, only in 8-bit and only with extended oversampling off and with high heat sensitivity. It's approximately 90 minutes in 8K 30, again only in 8-bit. No word on ProRes, no word on NRAW. This happens sometimes when you're testing a pre-production camera, so be it. We'll do a dedicated video running through all of the video specs for you that I'll release in just a couple of days, so stay tuned, make sure you've subscribed. Really, no changes in terms of specs or hardware other than the battery and integrated grip. Today we're going to put this through its paces again with some dances as well as a portrait shoot and see how it stands up and if it deserves to take the second place in Nikon's hierarchy of Z cameras. Just a quick note, folks, every still and video file that we're taking today with the Z8 and the Z9 cameras is being recorded onto NextStorage, CF Express Type B, or SD cards. Not just because they're sponsoring this video, I've independently tested dozens of different CF Express Type B cards over the years, and they're by far the fastest. So if you're shooting with these or any other camera that's using CF Express Type B and you want the best performance, they're the cards to go for. I'll have links to those in the description below. Okay, so initial impressions, it is just performing like the Z9, but cut down. The ergonomics of it are better than a Z7 or a Z6, it's that much bigger. I'm so used to shooting with the integrated grip now, doesn't make a huge difference to me, but for people who are wanting a smaller, lighter body, being under a kilo, you're getting that here. One thing with the autofocus tracking on the Z9 that I'm so used to now, it doesn't always stay exactly on the eye or face through the viewfinder, but when you get the images back, they are pin sharp and in focus. So again, I'm finding that on this one, that sometimes the box lags or doesn't seem to be in the right place. But reviewing the images on back of camera, it seems like I'm shooting with the Z9 here, and it should be the case with the processor and the sensor being exactly the same. Having said that, the D850 and the D5, D6 also had the same basic internals, but I never found that the performance was really exactly as good. Maybe to do with the different voltage from the battery, or I don't know, the power of the motors in them or something. Just the autofocus tracking and overall speed, it just couldn't keep up to the flagship. So I'll do a dedicated video where I do a direct comparison to the Z9. In this video, we'll focus in on just an initial hands-on with the Z8. If you're in the Nikon Z system, folks, check out my expert setup guide. It takes you through the entire range and it's already been updated for the Nikon Z8. It takes you through the entire camera control, physical layout, what every single button does on this and every camera in the system from APS-C through to Z9. The initial setup, all the different features that you're going to want to adjust and change, as well as the complete menu walkthrough, all of the different options, how to use them best to get the most out of your camera, including the new features that have been added to this one, like plain autofocus, HLG, HEF format, skin softening. All of that is run through for the Z8 already. Instant access via the link in the description below. Damn, I think I'd kind of forgotten how big, heavy, and loud these guys are. As someone who shot with DSLRs, pro-level DSLRs since the D2X, I think, D3X, the new modern cameras are just so far ahead in every regard. I appreciate the nostalgia for it, but as good as something like this was or is, a D6 at tracking, you just can't compare it. It's grabbing something, it's grabbing, you know, contrast in the outfit, that kind of thing, or face to hair. But as she's turning, it just doesn't have the kind of processing power required to analyze the scene and get the focus exactly where you want it. Yes, we got the job done with these, but you get a far higher keeper rate with the modern cameras once you learn how to use those properly. Now, one thing the Z8 has added is skin softening, which unbelievably actually works in stills and video. It can either be off, on, high, medium, or low. And essentially it says that it will not affect the eyes, the lips, the hair, but it will detect the skin and soften that out. It's not really a look I go for, but maybe in some cases there's a use to it. So I'll see if one of the dancers is okay to just get some static portraits, and we'll show you all 4 variations: off, low, medium, and high. I'm gonna take the same portrait 4 times. So I know which is the right one. Give me a funny face or a something. Okay, perfect. That will be easy to find in the playlist. That wasn't funny, that's actually quite pretty. But okay. This is 125 images taken over 6 or 7 seconds, every one of them perfectly in focus. So now it's official, the Z8 is a mini Z9. I know a lot of you were hoping for higher res, something to succeed the D850, legendary camera. But if you think back over the history of Nikon, this does have a precedent using the same sensor in 2 cameras. In fact, it was probably with the most legendary and most beloved DSLR Nikon has ever made, the D700. It has the same sensor and internals as the D3. It was 60% of the price of the D3 at the time, but significantly dumbed down, much slower. The shutter was rated to half as much. The viewfinder didn't have full coverage, only 1 card slot for a pro level body. Whereas the Z8 looks like it's going to be about 70% of the price, but other than the battery and integrated grip, it's 99% the camera. So perhaps it's fair to say that it's the spiritual successor of the D700 rather than the D850. In terms of video, my videographer said he didn't notice any difference in terms of the filming experience with the Z8 versus the Z9, other than ergonomics, and the files are just great to edit. That said, we were only doing short clips. Make sure you're subscribed, I'll have a dedicated video on longer form video with the Z8 coming soon. Now, I don't expect this is going to be close, but I want to shoot a series to compare the Z7 to the Z8 as well. For a lot of people, they were never considering the Z9. They're not interested in video, so just in terms of stills performance, when it's the same resolution sensor, let's see the kind of strike rate I get using the same 51.2 on the Z7 II versus the Z8, and we'll have dancer Mel do the same routine twice. So, I mean, no one will be surprised that just did so much better. As I said, the focus box isn't always on her face, but it isn't with the Z9 either. But there was only one time through that whole routine of me basically shooting at 20 frames a second non-stop that I saw a visible pulse. The rest of the time it stayed either on her face, back of the head, or body, depending on what was presented to the camera. I mean, I got hundreds of photos off, more than we did on the Z7 II, but of course that's what you would expect, given that this is a mini Z9. Okay folks, next up we're going to do a portrait test. Now, as a portrait photographer, one of the things I've really appreciated with the Z9 is having full coverage of the sensor for focus points, reliable autofocus, even in really low light or backlight situations. I was recently shooting in this studio. We rented it out to shoot with model Felicia, that you might know from the channel, for my new Shibari Friendly Way fully covered. If you want to check out the Shibari course, you can see the link below, but please do note it is not suitable for work. So we've got a black kimono, and this is actually, I thought these were just kind of like a family one, but apparently actually senior Geiko often wear the plainest outfits, so this could have been someone really important's one. So I'm thinking we'll use a bright white silvery rope to create a harness around all of that and recreate the shot we had here at the what was a chess table and now is a coffee table. So let's set it up. One thing I wanted to talk about quickly was the build quality and handling of the new Z8. So they're saying that it's as weather sealed as the D850. I've never had any reason to question their claims on that kind of thing before. Taking my camera to Mongolia and Iceland and all kinds of crazy conditions, never had an issue with the pro level sealed bodies. I'm also happy to see that it's that much bigger than like a Z6 and Z7, which for me, my full hand couldn't really fit on there. And the point of having a non-integrated grip body is for me not to have to add a grip. And given how gigantic the lenses are in mirrorless, their 1.2s are just crazy compared to the F-mount 1.4s. Having a camera that has some heft to hold it in place is a good thing. It's still, however, coming in a bit lighter than the D850. One thing to note, they're saying that this has the front plate made of mag alloy, but the top plate and the rear plate are now carbon fiber. To be honest, I don't care as long as it's just as rigid and that it can manage the heat dissipation. The Z9 and D850 are full mag alloy. Back in the day, the D750 had a plastic top and rear plate, but they're saying this one is carbon fiber. So my main concern will be, is the body able to dissipate heat when you're recording the high video formats? Anecdotally, I can say doing 3, 5, 10-minute clips in 4K, 120 and 8K, we haven't had any heat issues so far, but I'll do a dedicated video on that soon about how's the battery life and the overheating doing longer clips with this. Check out my CF Express testing guide below as well, that you can download that for free. You also need to be using the best quality cards to get those video formats. So that first setup went really smoothly, having done it all in the Shibari course, but with nudity, when you know what you're doing, it goes through a lot quicker, and I'm getting faster at tying the knots now. So I thought another one that we did here with Felicia was using this little frame as kind of a literal frame for the photo, using this calligraphy as a graphic element, and then using this wooden block that did have a vase on it for the model. Now, figuring out how to tie the ropes is going to look cool over a kimono, when other than just over a body, which is a lot easier actually, maybe a challenge, but we'll figure something out. I thought here the bright color and the pattern would offer a nice pop against such a bland wall. So let's get you tied up. First, the kimono. So I don't normally come in to make all of these small adjustments myself, but her hands are kind of not able to be used right now. We've got everything kind of looking how I want, the bow looking nice. There's a really ugly power point there, but everything else is looking good, so it's just getting some small variations here using the frame, and it'll come out to being something like an 8 or 8.5 by 10, I think, the final crop. Okay folks, so I've had several days of hands-on testing with this guy beyond what you've seen so far. We're making several different videos that'll be coming to the channel, and overall I'm impressed. I think the moniker of Mini Z9 is absolutely deserved. It is a shrunk down Z9. Now, at some point you have to just accept things are what they are. A lot of people were hoping for a high-res body that would go that route. This isn't it. So you have to think for yourself. Is the smaller design going to work for you? Is the $4,000-ish price tag, I don't have exact confirmation of that yet, going to work for you, or doesn't it? I can't answer that for you, but in terms of its overall performance as a stills camera, it's right up there with the Z9. Now, I have tested out the battery a little bit. We got off 6,750 shots shooting crazy burst modes, barely looking at the screens, and about a dozen video files, and still had 24% battery remaining. On another shoot, we got off 3,950 shots with no video and had 70% battery left. And if you extrapolate that, you could be looking at over 13,000 frames. So in terms of capturing, no problem. In terms of longevity, just over days, if you're doing intermittent shooting, that I can't speak to. And I haven't really tested all the video formats yet to see how it's going to do for overheating, so that will be coming soon as well. I think the question we have to ask though, whilst yes, you have to accept things are what they are at some point, is it's been 16 or 18 months since the Z9 came out. This is the next flagship in the system. Have they done enough? If what you were waiting for was a smaller, cheaper Z9, then hey presto, here it is. But in that amount of time, the innovation we've gotten is it's been shrunk. The integrated grip is gone. The EVF, the rear screen, the sensor, the processor, all of that is exactly the same. It's got a different second card slot in it. It's got a partly carbon fiber body, but essentially the tech inside is exactly the same. Should there have been more progress over 18 months? It's still, I'm sure, up there with the best flagship cameras on the market, but seeing they were able to do that at the end of 2021, could we have expected more now in 2023? Question for you, your budget and your own shooting needs. If you are going to order one of these, they're shipping in May. Apparently there's not going to be as long of a wait list. I'd appreciate it if you use my affiliate links, no pressure though, only if it works for you to actually put this into your arsenal. Let me know what you'd like to see tested. We've got loads more content coming on the Z8 over the coming days and weeks, so I'll do my best to cover it for you. Let me know any questions you have as well, and we'll see you soon.